History is very important. And a lot of people that visit here have never heard of the place, and they're very interested in the coal mining industry and the history that it has. And I believe that if our town was gone, such as other coal mine camps in Shelby County and Bibb County, that would be gone forever. The mining people who owned the mines in 1942 when it closed, as Mr. D.A. Thomas, he decided to sell the property to the people. And I'm very thankful for that, because they have been preserved for future generations to come and see and learn of our history. He saved the old company store building. I was fortunate to get that, and we put our museum in it. He saved Farrington Hall. It could have been torn down and put a trailer court here or something, you know, but he saved that. There's a lot of history to Farrington Hall, which would be gone if they hadn't preserved it. Mr. Aldrich retired in 1905, and he decided to build a private office, library, and recreation center, and Farrington Hall is the result of that. It was a well-known landmark in Alabama, and people came from miles around just to see the beautiful building and the gardens that surrounded it. Farrington Hall was named for the Aldrich's adopted son, William Farrington Aldrich, Jr. Farrington Hall was elaborately decorated. I'd like to say this, one large room in Farrington Hall, there were paintings around the whole room, and they were done by the famous Italian artist Giuseppe Moretti, who is the one that created Vulcan in Birmingham. Today we only have 5 left. Previous owners had taken them down and painted the walls and whatever, and they got destroyed. So we lost that part of the history. The Aldriches, he was a 3-term congressman. He served 3 terms in the House of Representatives, and they spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. They did a lot of prison reform work while they were in office. And when I say they, Mrs. Aldrich was a big help to Mr. Aldrich. In fact, she's the one that encouraged him into going into politics. And when the new owners bought the mines, they decided to lease convicts from the state penitentiary to work in the coal mine. And this was a practice that had been going on since the 1880s. The Aldriches were very distraught over that, because they did a lot of prison reform work, and they didn't like the idea of convicts being worked in their coal mine. So they decided to move away from Aldrich. And they moved everything they could out of Roger Lodge. And so that was the end of the history of Roger Lodge. And Roger Lodge was tore down in 1928. It got dangerous and dilapidated. June the 30th, 1928, the governor and the legislature abolished the convict lease system in Alabama. The prisoners were taken out of the coal mines. The people around coal mine camps revolted against convicts being used in the coal mine because of the dangers, you know, if they escape or whatever, and also that it was cruel and unjust punishment. A lot of them were put in prison specifically to work in the coal mine, even if they committed a menial crime, like stealing a loaf of bread or something. They put in prison to work in the coal mine. They had a few prison breaks, and they had a couple of revolts down in the mines where the convicts blew up a lot of the machinery so they wouldn't have to work. Oh, the convict cemetery is on top of the hill. It was up behind the prison. It was where the convicts were buried whose family did not come back to retrieve their remains, you know. And so the company just took them up there and dumped them in a hole there. There's only one marker. All the other graves have rocks at the head and foot. And it's been preserved somewhat. A trip to Davis Falls was almost an everyday thing for some people. I know in my childhood it was for me and my friends. We'd go up every day and swim, and history is important. And I want everybody to know about it. And a lot of first history happened right here in our little community, and people need to know about Aldrich, Alabama.